Hey class, hope you're having a great week. I currently do not have any experience having made any mandated reports or anything, um, but I found this to be a really useful exercise so that way I can be a little bit more knowledgeable. I am in California, so um, while a lot of the laws and regulations for mandated reporting with California is probably going to be fairly similar to other states, there were a couple things that popped out at me. So one of the first things that I found really interesting is that a mandated reporter cannot be held in criminal or civil liability reports, even if they're reporting somebody outside of their professional jurisdiction. So if I am an employed social worker, um, and I have a friend who reports, that they have like any sort of like suspected child abuse or anything, I can make a report on them, and regardless of whether or not that's founded, I can't be held in any sort of civil liability, which I thought that was pretty interesting. Another thing that was kind of weird to me was that um, we have to make a initial report via telephone, um, like either to CPS, APS, police department, whatever that looks like. So you have to do that as soon as humanly possible, and then you have to follow up with a written report, usually by email. So you have to do two, which feels a little redundant to me. And then also, failure to report can result in 6 months of jail time and or up to $1,000 fine. My field practicum policy, I'm currently working as a service coordinator or an SC, which for an agency which supports people with developmental disabilities. So our policy is like a zero tolerance policy towards abuse allegations or suspicions. So the person who receives the report must like make that phone call immediately. That person is more than likely going to be the SC. So that would be my role essentially. Um, so what was the other thing? Oh, I also found it really interesting because there is a slight discrepancy between my agency's definition of abuse and the state's definition of abuse. And I think it's just a little bit more strict with the community, with the DD community. So it's beyond the original California law, which is physical, sexual, neglect, emotional, and if that, I think that's everything. Those, you just have to have a reasonable suspicion in order to make those reports. But in addition, with my agency policy, we also have to include if there is financial abandonment, isolation, and unauthorized restraint. And I think that's because this community is so particularly vulnerable to abuse that it kind of encompasses even more. However, I think a lot of those like nuances as far as like like restraint, in my opinion, could fall under a physical abuse type of situation. So I don't know, like while it's more broader in the way they define it, it still could fall within the normal California policies. For me, like I had said, the report would most likely be made to me, and therefore I would be the one person reporting it. And the only time that's really different would be if we get a call stating that suspected abuse actually happened within like a care home of some sort. Well, that point, the care home is obligated to make the actual report. And then it would be my job to follow up and make sure that they completed the report. I would still be responsible for doing a SIR, and I have to look that. I keep forgetting what that's called. Special incident report. within 2 days of finding out about the incident. As far as like feeling whether or not I would not want to like report something or having hesitation, realistically, I don't think that I would. The law is pretty clear that it's not my job to investigate. If I have a reasonable suspicion of abuse or neglect or, you know, whatever it is, I'm mandated to report it. It's not my job to investigate it or to make sure that these claims or allegations are factual. So I don't think I would have any issues. And I don't really have any questions to follow up with. So thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a great week.